How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be talking about Wicked. I watched it yesterday. It's a solid movie. I obviously don't like musicals, and we already know that I don't like musicals, so that's a bit of a super stinker on my part because I have to sit through and watch 3 hours of a musical. But I enjoyed certain parts of it. I found certain parts of it a bit lackluster. I found certain parts of it great. So right now I will be breaking down every part I found great and every part I found lackluster. Let's start a bit with the bad. Okay, so for for most of this movie, I felt like it was going way too slow. The pacing felt very slow. It felt drawn out, and it felt like there were a lot of unimportant things that we were getting. But it was building the world, so I could kind of like accept it. The only thing I couldn't accept was the amount of musical numbers that were going on. I understand it. It's a musical. It's based on a Broadway show. It's based on a book. It's based on all these different things. I can kind of forgive it, but except I can't because they would stop one song and go straight on to the next, and then straight on to the next, and then straight on to the next. It was like a concert for an hour before it slowed down and started to actually flesh out the characters. I agree with the idea of musicals. The principle isn't as bad if you think about it. It's like their characters have so much emotion and they have so much going on that they have to express it through music. I do not feel like there was enough of that to warrant this many musical numbers. Do I think that there wasn't any emotion? No, I think that the movie does a lot of things great. It talks a lot about a lot of different themes that I really enjoyed. There were you have to accept yourself despite in this one it's like the color of your skin is green, but despite everyone being afraid of you, you need to learn how to accept yourself. And in the end, she really does, and I think that that's a great arc for Elphaba's character. And then the other one is like sisterhood, and you can find family outside of your actual family. Elphaba's family always rejected her, and so her being able to find that with Galinda, and then with Madame Morrible, I think is the name. Then finding it with her, like a mentorship type of thing, it really helped her settle into her new life, and it's just overall, I could see the movie being great. I really enjoyed it. It was just those few aspects of the movie that really just took me out of it. I by far I think it is better than The Brutalist and Emilia Perez, and the reason is Emilia Perez. The musical numbers take away from the story. This one, there's a lot that take away from the story, but there are a lot of great musical numbers that bring a lot to it. So, a right and a wrong cancel each other out to be neutral. Another thing is the characters. I found some characters to be a bit lackluster, and I feel like that's the way that they were written on purpose. Um, if you've watched the movie, you know, I'm gonna give a spoiler warning, but there really shouldn't be because if you look at the synopsis, it says two part. This movie doesn't end as I thought it would end, but I can excuse that because it's gonna be a two parter. I tend to not love two parters, but this movie will be a two parter, and so it does a very weird way of setting up the characters. Like I said, we have an hour of the movie where it's or hour and a half of the movie where it's just slow build up, build up, build up, build up, trying to build up to what is eventually going to be the end. But we rush it in the moments when we shouldn't rush it. So, again, like I said, I'm going to get into spoilers. So, there's a part where Alphaba and Galinda start like bonding, and so they bond together. You know, they're doing that, and then all of a sudden, a note from the wizard comes in, and then all of a sudden, they have to go to the Emerald City, and then all of a sudden, this, like it moves so quickly when the rest of the movie had moved very slowly, very progressively, trying to flesh out these characters, trying to make you see what type of motivations they have, trying to make you see that, and then it just like boom. Now we're in the Emerald City and we're face to face with the wizard. It's very fast like that, and it lost me because I was starting to enjoy this story of, okay, she's eventually going to be able to go see the wizard. And from what I've seen of The Wizard of Oz is The Wizard of Oz is the oldest movie in color, if I'm not mistaken. Um, that being said, everyone knows the story. The wizard, I'm pretty sure, has always been known as a fraud, and then it was always like the magical powers within Dorothy that got her back to Kansas, and the witch and stuff like that. And I was really expecting that. The visuals of the movie were great. I really liked the way that the train looked. I really liked the way that the Emerald City looked. I liked the face for the wizard. Yeah, I think that the movie itself looked fantastically well. That's one of my biggest compliments to it. Visually, the movie did not lack. Um, yeah, some of the characters felt very two dimensional, and one of the characters I would like to talk about is Galinda, especially. Throughout the whole movie, she's just been a brat. And at the beginning, she's like, once I become a sorcerer, I'm going to help you with your problem. And what she means by that is the color of your skin. That being said, at the end of the movie, she does not help her with her problem because Elphaba starts to accept herself for being green and having that magic within. So throughout the entire movie, you just get that like bitch attitude from Galinda, but she's trying to be a nice bitch, and that's the main difference. She's not being a mean bitch; she's being a nice bitch. So being a nice bitch, she can do certain things, and she can get away with certain things. But a lot of the things that she causes, trying to kind of get Elphaba out of her like comfort zone. A big example is when she sets up Bach with Elphaba's sister. She does that because she doesn't want this dude on her ass. And oh, who's someone that's gonna appreciate it? Elphaba, maybe. And doing that, like she doesn't do it in a nice way, but then it leads to good. And there's a lot of those types of coincidences that happen with the character where she's trying to get someone off of her ass or something off of her ass, and it just turns to something good, and it gives Elphaba the respect of Galinda. Another example is she's constantly trying to kiss up to Elphaba. Like there's this one part where their professor, the goat, the goat professor, gets taken out of the class because animals can't teach anymore, and then Elphaba gets affected by this. The boyfriend of Galinda gets affected by this. Prince Fiero gets affected by it, and so Galinda just acts like she's affected by it, just to kind of, I guess, go with the trend is what I would say. Definitely like a weird character. I think Ariana Grande plays her particularly well. I think that it's a type of, what's it called, role for Ariana Grande. She does those types of roles very well, where she can act to be like the dumb blonde in a way, kind of how she played Kat in Victorious. Yeah, she plays that type of character very well, and you can see that she tried to play that with a bit more of like what I would call malice in this movie. There's a lot of songs about like hating one another and stuff like that. I think that is just a good contrast of characters. You have someone that is more like an introvert versus an extrovert. You have someone that's a lot more self-conscious, someone that isn't self-conscious. And they understand each other very well, which is something that I think that the story does very great. So yeah, honestly, pretty positive about this movie. I didn't enjoy it as much. It's not my type of movie. I wouldn't rewatch it, and that's just me because I don't like musicals. But I thought that that the movie had a lot of very positive messages, a lot of very positive character developments. In certain cases, I feel like Galinda at the end is still a bit of that bratty self, but her horizons have been expanded now that she's met the wizard, now that she's seen all of this unfold. But she's still very naive to it. The reason why she's still very naive to it is that you see everything go down with the wizard, and you should be like fuck, he's a fucking fraud. Everything that we know, everything that we praise this man to be, is just fake. And the reason that she still doesn't see that kind of bothered me. But I mean, it's character development for the next movie. And yeah, there will be a next movie. This movie was absolutely huge. It's even nominated for an Oscar, which is why I'm covering it. But yeah, I found it to be an overall positive experience, but not one that I would like to put myself through again, just because I actually rolled my eyes 30 times because musicals would just start. The first 3 seconds a musical starts. The first, like, it's constant, like, it goes musical, talks 2 seconds, musical again. There's barely any breaks between it, and that's what I didn't like about it. Even at concerts, you get more breaks about it because I went to go watch Hans Zimmer recently, and he had even more breaks where he would talk to the audience, try to see what's up. There wasn't that in Wicked. But yeah, I just wanted to come here and talk about it a bit. It's a great movie. I recommend it if you like musicals. If not, it's definitely going to be one of the longer movies that you have to watch. So definitely go check it out if you are interested. It is on. I don't think it's on any streaming platform. I think you have to buy it directly. But yeah, have a great rest of your day. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.